When you think of Malaysia, this probably comes to mind. But there's also this. Here's a virtual taste of some of Malaysia's most scrumptious foods, in the words of popular chefs Anis Nabila and Norman Musa. Thank you so much for joining us in showing the world how absolutely delicious Malaysian food is. And of course, you're a famous chef. I really want to hear what you would say are the best 5 dishes that Malaysian cuisine has to offer.
If you ask any Malaysians, I think the answers would be similar, but not exactly the same, because we've got so many different types of cuisine here in Malaysia. First would be nasi lemak. Nasi lemak is actually our national dish. So it's basically rice cooked with coconut milk. But nasi lemak also is normally served with different types of condiments.
That is a must. We normally have it for breakfast. I know it sounds a bit heavy. You don't have to try like a big portion. Small portions is now.
Which brings me to our second Malaysian favorite dish, which is rendang.
Rendang, I know it's a bit like people like talking about where is it coming from originally.
Rendang originates from Indonesia, but the Malaysian version of rendang is quite different. Ours tends to be a little bit more saucy, so it has quite a bit of a gravy, if you call it. A lot more spices, slightly different than the Indonesian ones.
We normally cook this during the festive season.
Number 3 would be laksa. So laksa is actually our national soup, and we've got so many different types of laksa here in Malaysia.
Laksa. Now there are more than 40 different types of laksa. You have to try the laksa.
Number 4, it would be this dish that I can safely say it's nowhere else in the world. It's called masak tempoyak. It's actually fermented durian. Durian, very interesting, is known as the king of fruit. Is a funky smelling fruit with spikes on the shell, on the outer shell, but it's really creamy and really sweet. So this masak tempoyak, it's you can cook prawns. You can add prawns into it, or fish, and with other spices like chilies and garlic, and just the tempoyak. Sometimes you add a little bit of coconut milk, sometimes you don't. So this is it tastes. It's really interesting. You can't find anything like it anywhere else.
And the 5th one is a roti canai. Now roti canai is a must for you to have it for breakfast, and some people have it for the late supper as well. So these 5 dishes, if you go to Malaysia, then you have to try that.
What makes Malaysian food stand out? Like, what makes it so different from all the other cuisines, perhaps in neighbouring countries?
I noticed that there's a lot of confusion about this Malaysian cuisine.
I think Malaysian food is just completely different compared to any other food or cuisines in the world. We've got ingredients that you can't ever find it anywhere else in the world. But what makes it so different and so unique is because, for instance, like curry doesn't originate from Malaysia, but we have our version of curry, because when it came here, we had to, when we recreate the curry, our curry, we had to use our spices, our different spices and such, so it became different.
So that's what makes Malaysia food like it's kind of a melting pot. So we have a bit of Malay, like me, and then we have Chinese, completely different from the Chinese mainland, and then we have the Indian influence as well. And then in between Malay and Chinese, we have like a cross marriage between these two cultures, and then between Malay and Indian, there's another ethnic cross marriage.
And I think that's the thing that makes it so unique and so amazing. I think instead of fighting over whose food belongs to, or whose national dish it is or it's meant to be, we should celebrate our what we share in common.
Go and visit my country. Well, you can try by mentioning my name to get free food, but you can try, but I can't guarantee that you can get that. Once you've been to Malaysia,